obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
Lie. No man is obsolete.
It's a cookbook.
Who are we?
When will they take the bandages off?
You're a bad man. You're a very bad man.
This lemon sucker here. He's the most suspicious of the bunch.
My name is Talkie Tina, and I'm beginning to hate you.
I believe you're going my way.
Live from Willoughby at the heart of the Twilight Zone. Here are your hosts, Alex and Tyler, the prestigiously perfect podcast in which we call The Twilight Zone.
What is up, Gnomies? I'm Alex.
And I'm Tyler.
Welcome to the Twilight Gnome Podcast, episode 62. What episode are we going to be discussing this week, Ty?
This week we are discussing Perchance to Dream.
Season 1, Episode 9, the original air date, November 27th, 1959. This was written by Charles Beaumont and directed by Robert Florey, who did 3 Twilight Zones, all pretty decent, I'd say. I'd say this might be my favorite, but you be the judge. Are you ready for him?
Okay, let's hear him.
He did Perchance to Dream, The Fever, and The Long Morrow.
I don't remember what The Long Morrow's about.
It's season 5. I don't believe you've seen this one.
Okay.
And obviously The Fever.
The Fever's a funny one. I feel like it's one of those guilty pleasure ones.
You think you'd put The Fever in the guilty pleasure?
Just the whole scene of the slot machine chasing him, yelling Franklin, that's just obviously comical. I don't know.
Another guilty pleasure I kind of forgot about, Most Unusual Camera. I'd put that in guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
A little taste for you Gnomies out there for our next
Hint, hint,
video.
wink, wink.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. I'm going to get this right off the bat. We're at, I think 127 subscribers right now as of when we're recording this, and we are blown away. We couldn't thank you guys enough.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Keep subscribing, keep commenting, keep watching. Just really appreciate it.
All right, Ty, we'll jump right into it. What was your favorite moment of Perchance to Dream?
My favorite moment was when he jumps out the window.
Spoiler alert, Tyler. My favorite is the whole funhouse scene. I love the canted angles. It feels like a David Lynch. It felt like Monkey Bone.
So David Lynch.
I love it.
I hate David Lynch.
I love this. I'm excited. We obviously talk a little bit in between the podcast, but a little bit inside baseball here, listeners. Tyler said he hates this episode. I fucking love this episode.
I'm wondering. I was looking.
We'll
today,
save our ratings obviously till after, but
yeah, I was looking today though on our list. So there's only 4 episodes. Our greatest divide is 3.5 points away, and there's only 4 of them that are like that. I'm wondering if this is going to be one where it's larger than a 3.5 divide.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I absolutely adore this episode.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my favorite moment. So your favorite moment was pretty much just the end when he kills himself.
Well, he didn't actually kill himself
I know.
way. He killed himself.
Did you
by
see it
sleeping.
coming?
Yes, I completely saw it coming. I was like, oh, this whole thing is just going to be a dream.
Did you remember this episode pretty well, or?
Not really, no.
And it's still the whole plot twist?
No, I still completely saw it coming. I think they did what I will give them credit due, they definitely did a good job hinting at both that he's going to jump and that it's going to be a dream the whole time. They did a good job laying down that groundwork.
We have the technology to rebuild him.
Doctor, what have you created?
I am, for all intent and purposes, AI Serling.
So every week I put a prompt into ChatGPT, come up with a Rod Serling style intro to the episode we are watching, and this week it came up with this. This is Edward Hall. He hasn't slept in 87 hours, not because of a guilty conscience or too much caffeine, but because of a woman. Her name is Maya. She appears only in dreams where she waits with patient grace and feline cruelty. Edward believes that if he falls asleep, Maya will follow through on a promise made somewhere between nightmare and heartbeat, that she will stop his heart. He's here now, desperately trying to hold on to reality with frayed fingers, but reality is a slippery thing, and sometimes the line between what is and what isn't is drawn not in sand but in shadow, on the borderland known as the Twilight Zone.
Well, there's a line in there that made no sense. Something about like holding hands to heart.
I know, I'll read it again. I was reading over it and I was like, That doesn't sound like proper English. I don't think Rod would let that one slide.
Yeah.
What was it here? It was...
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it says, Maya will follow through on a promise made somewhere between nightmare and heartbeat. And then it says that she will stop his heart.
Somewhere between nightmare and heartbeat. Yeah, that doesn't...
But there's also punctuation. It's the 2 dots. I don't know what that is supposed to represent.
I think it's just a longer pause, like more than a period or something. But even the lines somewhere between nightmare and heartbeat, that makes no sense. I don't know. Oh, I'd say this is one of the weirdest AI Serlings.
Well, I guess it fits for the episode, but all right. Every week, Tyler and I come up with a few questions for each other, keep each other on our toes while watching said episode. I came up with 4 this week. I
did 5 just because I figured we probably going to overlap on some of them. So I was like, I'll write some extra ones just to be safe.
Right. You want to go first then?
All right. How many horses can be seen drawn in pictures in the receptionist's office?
Oh, dang. I didn't even notice a single one. I'm going to guess 3.
5.
Dang. What number is the doctor's office?
Looks like he's pretty high up, so I'm going to guess like 732.
It was 1410.
Ooh, 14th floor. Who is Mr. Hall's regular doctor?
Dang it, I have it written in my notes. I won't cheat. Fuck. It's Jack Jefferson.
Fred Jackson. It's Michael Jackson's brother, Fred.
I knew it began with a J. That's why I said or whatever the hell I said. Maybe what I said didn't even begin with a J. I can't even remember.
I think you said
now.
like Jack Johnson or something like that. Like,
damn it. I knew it began with a J.
Well, it begins with an F. Fred.
Well, Jackson.
Yeah.
How long has Ed been awake?
87 hours.
Correct.
You said it.
I know. After I said, I was like, shit.
That was one of my questions too, and I was like, well, I'm not going to read that one. How much does the funhouse cost?
Ooh, 35 cents.
50 cents.
How much does the merry-go-round cost?
35 cents.
25 cents.
I thought you read that because I was like, oh, well.
I was going to say 25 cents is my thing, but I think...
Yeah, I gotcha. And my last one, how old is Mr. Hall?
36?
35.
Damn it. How old was Ed Hall when he found out he had a bad heart?
9?
16.
Oh. I have a romantic heart. I can't love too much.
All right, we'll jump right into the plot of this one. We open on a really cool shot of a building. And
this was a nice shot. It reminded me...
Apparently, it's from an old silent film from the 20s.
Oh, I was going to say it was something... It reminded me a lot of Alfred Hitchcock's... what's it called? Vertigo.
Right? But I guess it does kind of have that metropolis feel to it.
Yeah, definitely a miniature that they just like zoomed out and down from.
Very cool. And then we're down on ground level, and we see a man just kind of looking really scared, I suppose, would be the feeling I'm getting from him.
Yeah, and then this is quickly followed by the shortest Rod intro I have ever heard. Like, I feel like he barely talked.
Really? I didn't notice that. Obviously, it's season 1, so he jumps right into it, but...
Yeah, it seemed like a really short Rod intro.
12 o'clock noon. An ordinary scene, an ordinary city. Lunchtime for thousands of ordinary people. To most of them, this hour will be a rest, a pleasant break in the day's routine. To most, but not all. To Edward Hall, time is an enemy. And the hour to come is a matter of life and death.
It's also weird because in season 1, he doesn't really end it with the Twilight Zone, so you're like, are you done?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, because there's other season 1 episodes where he'll like stop speaking and then like a couple minutes later he'll pick up speaking again. So I was expecting something like that, and then like that was it. And I'm like, that seemed way too short. Like, I don't know. And also that it happens right off the bat too.
I know I'm a broken record and I say this on a lot of podcasts, but there's just something about season 1.
It definitely
holds it stands out, I feel like, from a lot of the seasons. Obviously, season 4, you got the hour-long. Season 2 and 3 are, like...
the best episodes.
They're definitely, like, the peak of it. But season 1 stands out on its own as, like... If they had just ended after the first season, you'd still be like, The Twilight Zone was an awesome fucking show.
Oh, definitely.
So this man's kind of, like, nodding off. Seems very nervous watching people go around this revolving door. He walks towards the building and kind of faints. And this nice guy just, hey man, you all right? And get the fuck away from me. Pushes him away.
Harrison Ford, get the fuck away from me.
And Ed just pushes the guy away. And then he goes up. We see that he's at the psychiatrist's office. And Hall meets the secretary. But it does a weird thing of not showing her face to us. We're seeing from behind the secretary. Which,
yeah, I didn't notice that the first watch around. The second time I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense that you're not going to show what she looks like.
She tells him to go in. They say that they've been expecting him. And then we see Anthony Fremont's dad behind the desk. Did you notice that?
Okay, I was staring at him for the longest time. I'm like, this man has been in another episode, and I can't freaking think of it. It was driving me nuts. And I was like, I'm fairly certain it's one we've already watched. So, yeah, Now that you say that, yep.
And the doctor says, what's the matter? And then the doctor asks, are you ill? And Ed says, no, just tired. And Ed goes down and lays down. And the light dims. We hear a really weird sound, and I do like that. It was very eerie.
It was that I liked a lot. The lighting effect with the cool sound, and that's what gives you kind of this kind of inclination of, oh, this is probably him actually falling asleep. So what follows is a dream. I think they did a well job of making it subtle enough where if you pick up on it, it's not as big of a surprise later on, but like upon rewatches and stuff, it's enough to kind of insinuate, oh, he's kind of sleeping without it being overtly so
giving away the message
and giving away the twist at the end.
Sure. The lights come back on, and he jumps to his feet. And I'll play some of this because the doctor's like, oh, I thought you said you were tired. And then he kind of gives his whole reason for why he has been up for so long.
Almost 4 days and nights.
And you can't go to sleep, is that it?
No, Doctor, not can't. I mustn't. I mustn't go to sleep because if I do, I'll never wake up.
I can't tell if this guy's the best actor in the Twilight Zone or the worst.
He's a bad actor.
That's unfortunate. He plays it so, oh, doctor, I gotta tell you. He sounds like the Cowardly Lion.
Yeah, and like he's definitely, his character too is just such the annoying hypochondriac of like, oh, I can't, my heart is too bad, I can't do anything. You tell me to sit, it would, my heart will go.
After commercial, the doctor lights him a relaxing butt. And he says, I expected something different. And the doctor's like, what, did you expect an old man with a white beard and a German accent? Obviously, like a Sigmund
Freud.
Yep. Reference there. And he said, maybe I should wear a disguise. And he puts glasses on. More comfortable now.
Like Clark Kent.
And then he's like, oh, my regular doctor, Fred Jackson, sent me over. And he's like, but I don't think you can help me. I'm going to keep going referring. I don't wish I call him Ed or Hall. I keep calling him like Hall. I go by first name and last name.
I kept writing him as Mr. Hall.
All right. Well, Mr. Hall walks towards the door. The doctor asks, do you think you're running away from something is really the best answer to all this? And Mr. Hall decides to tell the doctor, all right, promise you won't put me in a straitjacket. And he proceeds to tell him the story, even though he says, I can't promise you anything. Did you notice that? He's like,
yeah, promise you won't put me in a straitjacket. And to which the doctor replies, well, I can't promise anything. Which, I mean,
all right, well, I'll tell you.
If he says something completely batshit insane, yeah, that would kind of be unfortunate for him to be like, I promise no matter what you say, I won't put you in a straitjacket. And he's like, says something completely out of left field, like, okay, well, I shouldn't have said that.
It's at this point that Ed Hall opens the window and he kind of hears the call to the void, as it were, and he kind of like looks down and it's like quite the drop.
Another cool shot where the camera kind of like zooms down to show the distance that he's got down. With this coupled with the very first shot that we get in this episode, it's kind of playing with the whole heights, and you're like, okay, something's gonna happen about him falling.
Chekhov's
probably.
window.
Yeah, Chekhov's window. That's a good.
The doctor comes over and he's like, that window's not supposed to be open. He's like, why? What, you think I'd fucking kill myself or something?
And yeah, because he's Mr. Hall says, you think I'd jump? I want to live. That's my problem.
All right, I like that line. He says, all right, I'll tell you, but you're going to think I lost my marbles. And the doctor's like, well, marbles can be found, Mr. Hall. And then it's at this point that Hall looks at his picture of a sailboat and he's like, did you ever look at this? I mean, really look at it. I can make it move, you know.
When I was a kid, I used to stare at paintings for hours on end until I made them move.
I kind of got like a young Voldemort when he said that, and that whole I can move things, you know. That's such a cringy part of what was that, Half-Blood Prince?
Yep.
I can move things, you know. Like,
I can do things to people that hurt me.
But anyway, he says that he can make the picture move because when he was a kid, they used to have a very similar picture, and his mom told him to look at it.
I like how he says it's not the exact same. Like, no shit. Like,
Not
the
exact
odds
same.
that you have the exact same painting as this doctor would be fucking mind-blowing.
He's like, all I have to do is keep looking at it. I didn't believe her, but the idea fascinated me, and it did move. He said, yes, but after a while, I couldn't control it. And he pours himself some water, then takes some pills, and that's at this point the doctor says, is this how you've managed to stay awake?
Which he knows he has a heart condition, because this doctor already mentioned that was one of the things that the other doctor, Dr. Fred Jackson, had told him about him, that, all right, this man has a heart condition. You're stayed awake for 87 hours by popping pills. Like, that's way worse for your heart than whatever the hell your imagination could cook up.
Well, Ed Hall actually says, he's like, I know these are probably going to kill me, but if I fall asleep, that's going to kill me. So he's like, heads I win, tails you lose.
Yeah, but
I did like that.
It's just him being an idiot, because what will definitely kill you is taking pills and not sleeping. Like, you will die if you do not get sleep. Whereas, like, oh, my imagination's so strong because I'm just such an imaginative person and I'm going to have scary dreams that will give me a heart attack. Like, Jesus Christ.
I did like when Mr. Fremont was just like, imagination is good in a young growing boy. I thought that was funny. And then it's at this point that Mr. Hall says, when I was 16, I was diagnosed with a bad heart. I can't take any scares. And then he tells a story.
Doesn't he call it a romantic heart too, or something like that?
I believe so.
Yeah,
like a fluttering heart.
I was diagnosed with a romantic heart. I'm like, so you couldn't get your heart broken by anyone? Like,
I think it's more of like a metaphor thing. I've heard of the term of romantic heart. It's more like a fluttering heart, like heart palpitation type thing.
I thought it was kind of a funny expression. So I was like, oh no, I couldn't date anyone. I couldn't fear rejection.
He tells a story about when he was driving in Laurel Canyon, and he would see someone in the rearview mirror just because he heard a story about it, so he thought it would manifest in his imagination.
To be fair, who hasn't driven alone in the middle of the night and like had that feeling of like, I wonder if there's someone in the back of my car, even though I checked it. Like, wouldn't that be crazy? Like, that's happened to me before. Like, that thought crosses your mind of
Total sidetrack. I remember one time when I was probably like 7. I jumped and we went to go see Uncle Junior somewhere, and I was and Mom thought it would be funny, like just hide in the back of his car, and like halfway when he got home, I jumped out of the back. Like, that could have gone so fucking bad. It scared the shit out of him.
I can imagine that'd be freaking terrifying. You're like, hide in the back of his car, wait for like an hour till he thinks he's safe, then pop out. Like, yeah, it's a kind of a semi-legit fear of someone just hiding in the backseat of your car.
And I have this written down, cool shot. Lots of cool shots. The director did an awesome job in this episode. I love it.
There are some shots that are cool that remind me of like an Alfred Hitchcock film, but there are others that are not my taste, I'll say. No, I won't call them bad, but that they remind me of David Lynch. I just hate David Lynch films.
And then he looks in the rearview mirror and he sees Maya's eyes in the mirror. And then we're back in the psychiatrist's office, and he's like, I was lucky. The shock could have killed me. I can't take any more. And I'll play some of this because he has the whole, he can only take one more shock. How he knows he can only take one more shock, I don't know.
Because the doctors told him he can only take one more shock. But, like, the whole thing of his imagination being so strong, like, it's just ridiculous.
I was lucky. The shock should have killed me. I couldn't survive another one, the doctor said. I could be sure of that.
And has there been another one?
No. But there will be just as soon as I fall asleep. The girl will be in this dream again. And it'll be the last shock.
It's the second dramatic go-to commercial, which I know this is the first season in 1959. They were all about that.
I mean, it's
trope.
also a show full of that trope. Like, not just season 1, but I feel like a ton of episodes have the dramatic bum, bum, bum.
I know, but to end every single act with a dramatic thing's pretty funny.
Stay tuned while we try to sell you Clorox. But yeah, it's I think right after this point is when he tells the doctor that he dreams in sequence, which is a kind of really cool idea to think of. But then I love the doctor's rebuttal to this, where he's like, I dream in sequence, Doc. I know that because I wake up and I write down my dreams, to which the doctor replies, well, how do you know that it's you rewriting your dreams down that keeps your dreams in sequence? Like, that's really clever. I think it's what the doctor says is dreams conformed to the notes and not the other way around. I liked that idea.
That was cool. And then Mr. Hall says, the other night I fell asleep for a minute and I had a dream I was at an amusement park, one of those scary ones. He kind of like talks some shit of it, but again, cool shots. I really like this feel. We see Maya the cat girl for the first time, and we get the Twilight Zone logo. Did you see that spinning behind him?
I don't think I picked up on that.
It was kind of cool. Oh, obviously, just like I don't know, what would you call that thing? The spinning white void.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's behind him. And I have this written. It reminds me of Monkey Bone a lot. I
haven't watched a Monkey Bone since probably Monkey Bone came out.
And it kind of made me really want to go back and watch Monkey Bone.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
I love Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser's got some great movies. I don't think I'd ever want to rewatch Monkey Bone. I'd probably pick a new one first.
No.
Like
Let's
Encino
rewatch
Man
that
or something.
Encino Man. No, I'd say Monkey Bone's better than Encino Man.
I haven't seen Encino Man. I haven't seen that one, and I haven't seen Blast from the Past.
Or The Whale. The Whale's really good.
That seems like too artsy.
No, it's really good. Then we get probably the most strange and slightly arousing erotic dance ever in the Twilight Zone.
I wrote, and now interpretive dance.
Maya does this erotic dance for him. Ed runs away. Maya laughs. And then he's back in the doctor's office. I knew I had to get away from a doc.
Oh, before that, though, like, she comes up to him after the erotic dance and then starts talking to him like, kiss me, I know you want to. And then she knows his name. She calls him by name, and he's like, how do you know my name? Which just made me think of, again, Brendan Fraser, Bedazzled, where Elizabeth Hurley knows his name, and he's like, how do you know my name? And she's like, it's written right on your name tag.
At this point, she does catch back up to him, and she's like, why were you doing that? What? Running away? Are you alone? Ed says that he is alone, and then she's like, well, then come with me. And then I'll play some of this, because she says this really cool line about, I know this is a dream, and it's just kind of creepy, her acknowledging that she knows in a dream. You don't think so?
No, because essentially that's your own brain acknowledging that it itself is in a dream, because he seems completely, lucid?
Yep.
He seems to be lucid dreaming because after he's the one that acknowledges at first that it's a dream, so she's just a product of his own imagination. She's not a real person. So it makes sense that she, as part of his own brain, also is aware that this is a dream.
True. Then they go into this cool funhouse thing. All kinds of oddities are in there. We see a Frankenstein, a skull, a chimp, a weird, scream laughing thing.
Yeah, like a monkey that's on a roller skate, and it gets pulled across the room and goes, ah, for no reason.
And then this is really cool, too. Maya goes, we've been expecting you, Mr. Hall. And, what? Nothing. Can we kiss now? Did you pick up on that? It was so odd. And it would be such a weird nightmare fuel thing. It's very Eraserhead.
This whole funhouse scene was very Eraserhead, nightmare fuel, kind of creepy nightmare imagery. Yeah.
It's at this point that monkey on a cart comes over and we get a jump scare, and Hall's kind of like, all right, that's it. And he kind of starts freaking out.
I love his
Maya laughs.
I love his voiceover on this the whole time, because right afterwards he says, that's what I knew, she was trying to kill me.
It's very airplane-y. Leslie Nielsen.
It makes me think of the time that we were driving back from DeMillo's, and I was little, and I was like, oh my god, the aliens are staring right at me. It's like, that makes no sense. Like, what the fuck are you even talking about?
I just thought of something funny. It'd be like a cool Leslie Nielsen skit. He literally gets stabbed by a woman in the voiceover. That's when I knew it was over.
Yeah,
no shit.
Something like that, where it's just very blunt. Love it.
We're back in the doctor's office, and yeah, like you said, he said, that's when I knew she was trying to kill me. My heart was racing like crazy. The doctor said I almost had it. He's like, her face looked familiar, though, but I couldn't really pinpoint it. And then he's like, then the next night I fell asleep again for another minute. I was back at the amusement park. He was running by a roller coaster. Maya catches up with him, and they go on said roller coaster. And she's like, there's nothing to be afraid of, Edward. It's just a dream. And he's like, but I got a heart condition. He's like, you're asleep. Nothing can hurt you.
Again, the whole oh, my heart is so bad I can't even dream. He's just such a hypochondriac. I hate him.
Edward!
Get away from me.
There's nothing to be afraid of, Edward. It's only a dream.
I've got a heart condition. I can't stand all this excitement.
It's silly. There isn't any excitement. You said so yourself. You're at home, asleep in bed. Now you can do all the things you can't do when you're awake.
That's not true. The doctor said...
Look, Edward!
I love this episode. And we'll get into it more. But anyway, I digress. She goes, look, there's the roller coaster. Let's go on it. And he goes on it, even though he knows deep down, like, I shouldn't have got on that roller coaster. And then
that's when I knew she was trying to kill me.
Should be a t-shirt. And that's when I know she was trying to kill me. Lots of cool shots on this. I really liked it. Very Wizard of Oz eerie feel, like when they're like in the tornado because it's like spinning around. It showing
I thought it just looked really cheap because, like, obviously it's just a really shittily done rear projection.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. And then he's like, oh, let me off. And but of course, Maya is like, no, jump, Edward, jump.
Which, again, third time we're getting to him, like, jumping. So, like, we've seen the big, tall building. We've seen him staring down from a really high height in the doctor's office. And now we're hearing Maya yelling jump. Like, it's all, we can all kind of guess and ascertain at this point what
I actually didn't
put
put that together, the whole jump, and then he jumps to the window thing.
No?
No. That makes it even cooler.
No, it just...
And we're back at the doctor's office. Again, really cool shot. That cool, like, close-up on just his face. And he says, so next time I fall asleep, I'll jump, and that'll be the end of me. Like, well, you don't have to jump.
Well, he also says, or she'll push me. She'll push me.
She'll push me. She push me. And that'll be the end of me. But if I don't sleep, I'll end up dying too. And then he does, I think is it at this point that he does the heads I tail win?
Heads you win, tails I lose. Yeah.
Can't remember if it was this point or earlier on, but either way, it's at this point he goes, all right, well anyway, doctor, see ya. Thanks for listening. He goes outside into the
secretary's office, the waiting room.
The foyer. And that's when we see it. We see the secretary's face. It is who? Bum, bum, bum.
Maya the cat girl. Why is she called the cat girl? Is it just because she was wearing a leopard print?
And she had cat eye makeup and stuff?
She, like, didn't have whiskers or, like, anything cat related. I don't know.
She had a pussy.
So weird. She had a pussy. Didn't.
Jesus, it's terrible. Edward freaks out. He runs back into the office. It's her! Who, my secretary? Her name's not even Maya. And fuck it. And he just jumps out the window. And we kind of fade to black. And then we fade in from black. And we see the doctor just sitting there. And, receptionist, come in here, will ya?
Does this look like a dead man to you?
And I'll play some of this because this is when we get the big reveal.
I'm afraid he's dead.
But he came in just a minute ago.
I know. When he came in, I told him to sit down, and he did. Less than 2 seconds, he was asleep. Then he gave that scream you heard.
Heart attack?
Probably. Well, I guess there are worse ways to go. At least he died peacefully.
I loved that line. That was so cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a clever line.
My wife and I were talking about it. I wonder, like, because everyone does say dying in your sleep is peacefully, but what if you're having, like, the worst nightmare of all time before that happens?
And that's what causes the heart attack?
Yeah.
I mean...
Not that everyone who does in their sleep doesn't die have a heart attack, do they?
I mean, you must be dying of something. You don't just die of sleep.
No. But anyway, after that, Rod brings us out.
They say a dream takes only a second or so. And yet in that second, a man can live a lifetime. He can suffer and die, and who's to say which is the greater reality? The one we know or the one in dreams? Between heaven, the sky, the earth, in the Twilight Zone.
And that's our episode. Tyler, what did you learn?
Never fall asleep at the psychiatrist's office.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll jump right into ratings. IMDb currently has this at a 7.4 out of 10. I know I like this more than you, so why don't you go first for me?
All right, I'm giving this episode a 4.5. The stories doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I hate the main character. His whole, like, oh, my imagination's so strong and my heart is so weak. It just really annoying. There are some cool shots. I will give it that. But yeah, just overall, I'm not a fan.
Well, I think we're still at the same thing because I'm giving this an 8.
All right. Yep. 3.5 difference.
I really enjoy this. I've always liked this episode. I mean, obviously, I'm not giving it any higher than that, but it's still, I think 8 is top tier Twilight Zone, even if it's the bottom of the top tier. I really enjoyed this episode. What did you guys think? Comment down below.
Who are they? Where are they? What are they? Let's find out together in the Twilight Gnome presents Inside the Twilight Zone.
All right, so this week we have Richard Conte. He played Edward. Yeah, he was in The Godfather. Lots of movies from the 40s and 50s, and then kind of transitioned into TV, it looks like, in the 60s. He had 95 credits, but nothing that really stood out to me.
Who was he in The Godfather? Probably a smaller role.
I'm not sure, actually. I've never seen The Godfather.
Man that buys fruit at vegetable stand?
Nothing like that. He actually did have a name,
okay.
So... then we have John Larch. He played Dr. Rathman, who is obviously in quite a few other Twilight Zones. Just 3. But
Anthony's a good boy, aren't you, Anthony?
Well, howdy, Anthony. Yes, he plays Anthony Fremont's father in It's a Good Life, and then he's also in the episode Dust. I do not recall that one that well, so I can't remember who he played in that. He was in the movie Dirty Harry, Airplane 2, 7 episodes of Gunsmoke, and quite a bit of television in that whole era. Then we have Suzanne Lloyd. She played Maya. She is actually still alive. She was born in 1934.
Nice.
She was in lots of TV shows from the 50s and 60s, and then kind of just dropped off in like the very early 70s. And the only other credit she has is one credit in 2017 on Young and the Restless.
Wow, cool.
So, Beaumont took inspiration from a Shakespeare quote. To be or not to be. After that,
I'll get into that more.
This was actually the first Twilight Zone not to be written by Rod. This was the very first Beaumont, obviously, since it was episode 9, so the first 8 were written by Rod. Beaumont's first, and the first 2 not be done by Rod.
Nice.
The original story was actually published in Playboy a year before, November of 1958.
Published in Playboy?
Yeah. Maybe there was a lot more of a erotic dance part.
The whole story is just her dancing.
Maya in Hindi means supernatural power to produce illusions, which could quite possibly be a representation.
Yep.
The doctor says that Edward is 35 years old, but in real life the actor was 49, which is when he said that I was like, yeah, that's a rough fucking 35.
Yeah, when he said 35 too, I was like, I don't think I look that close to being that old looking.
And Richard Conte actually died of a heart attack at the age of 65.
Did he have a bad dream?
I don't know. It did not state that. In total, this episode cost $53,955. The director received the usual $12.50, and the cast received $7,525.
What'd you say your name was?
What's in a name, Mr. Benedict, really? It's a mere question of semantics. Just language. A mere stretch of words.
All right, so every week, Tyler and I come up with a few alternative titles to the episode we are watching, and you guys can do so as well.
Yes, we'd love to hear you guys' ideas for different alternative titles that you got.
I think the best way to go about it so we can actually read them on the podcast would be to go to the Facebook page, and every week I say what next week's episode is going to be, and maybe give your alternative title on that post, and we will read it aloud on next week's episode. But this week I have 4.
I have 7.
All right, go for it.
All right, I'm gonna read my 2 debacles.
Can we do one debacle that we probably both got?
You do your debacle first. Then.
No, we should do it at the same time. I bet we got the same one.
I don't think it's gonna be exactly.
You don't
the same.
think so?
No.
You don't think so?
I think mine's gonna be slightly longer.
Right.
The Deadly Dream debacle.
I just had the Dream debacle.
Yeah, I assumed. Yeah. My other debacle was the Sleep Deprived debacle.
Pretty decent. Scream of Hearts. I was kind of going with the Queen of Hearts because she's a temptress.
Yeah. Dead Tired.
I like that one. That one's pretty good. Deadly Dreams of Edward Hall.
A Weak Heart and a Wild Imagination.
Do another one.
Carnival of the Mind.
Good. All right. This one's a little long, but I think it's pretty funny. Edward Hall has a fall, but by chance the tale was tall.
All right. I got the hypochondriac's heart condition.
Yeah.
And my last one, for in that sleep of death, what dreams may come.
What was the one I said I liked? It was like your third one?
Dead Tired.
I like Dead Tired.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it gives it away, but it is good in retrospect. Switcheroos, I have 4.
I have
or 5.
I have like 8.
Wow. I'll go first.
Yeah,
then.
you go first.
A World of His Own.
I don't think. Nope, not that one. Nightmare as a Child.
Nope. He's not a child.
He acts like a child.
Lateness of the Hour.
Nope. Nervous Man in a $4 Room.
No. I'm sure that the shrink costs a lot
more than $4.
Young Man's Fancy.
No. Shadow Play.
Nope. 90 Years Without Slumbering.
Yep, I have that one. Death's Head Revisited.
Nope. And you'd have to change a little bit, but I Dream of Maya.
No. And I also have The Fear and Nightmare at 20,000 feet. You'd have to lower that to like Nightmare at several hundred feet.
At the 14th floor.
Yeah, however tall that building
Nightmare on the 14th floor.
Yeah. You are now about to penetrate the Twilight Zone.
All right, so every now and again, if we have a worthy porno parody name, we will do so. And it's been a while, and I actually have some, and Tyler has. You have one?
I have one. I'm wondering if we have the same one.
Probably.
Do you only have one?
Let's say it at the... I have 2, right. But I think I know which one you say.
Which one's the obvious one?
We'll say it at the same time,
okay.
And if it doesn't work out, we'll edit this.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Perchance to Wet Dream.
Ah, close.
Yeah.
I had Perchance to Cream. You had
Perchance to Wet Dream.
Yeah. And then my other one was Pre-Cum Wet Dream.
Yeah. We were floating around the same ideas there.
I'll keep it all in there. We were pretty close.
Yeah. All right, so quite a few references this week. Starting us off with the obvious one, we got 1984's Nightmare on Elm Street and all of its sequels. Obviously, that whole movie franchise is about a man that kind of gets into your dreams and kills you, and similar to this, sort of where you got a man that's afraid to fall asleep because he's going to die if he falls asleep, just like the main characters. And you also have 2010's Inception, with the whole dream inside of a dream, because at the end of this episode we find out, oh, he was actually dreaming inside the dream that we didn't realize he was in.
No, my friend. This is the dream.
Such a mindfuck episode of South Park.
I love it.
Then this obviously took, at least the name of it, took inspiration from Shakespeare's Hamlet from 1602. From its namesake, we have the classic line, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep of death what dreams may come. Act 3, Scene 1.
There you go. You did that in one take. Good job.
Thank you.
You're going to say that next time I get a handy. Oh, there's the rub.
Oh, there's the rub. And then 1992's Batman animated series also has the episode with the exact same title as this one, Perchance to Dream. And then we have the 2005 movie Stay, where Ryan Gosling's character has a reoccurring nightmare about falling, and he seeks a psychiatrist's help as his line between reality and the dream kind of start to become blurred. And those are our references.
Awesome. All right. Well, every week Tyler picks the episodes, and he does so by showing me an AI-generated picture. I play a little game where I have to guess what it is. Now, I've been saying it for quite a while now, Tyler, but I am pretty sure we're at fucking 10 or 11 or 12 episodes since our last season 4, so I'm guessing it's a season 4.
You want to see the picture?
Are we still in Death Other?
Yes, still Death Other.
All right. Yeah, just season 4.
All right.
Is it The Mind and the Matter?
Yeah, it is The Mind and the Matter. Good. I'm glad
Not season 4.
No, it's not season 4. You keep guessing season 4. I mean, eventually you'll be right.
Eventually, but holy shit, the other two must be close together, season 4s, because we have been... What was our last season 4?
The Bard.
That was a long time ago. That was like episode 42.
No,
or 50.
1, 2, 3, 4, 8 ago. It was only 8 ago.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Next, what season is that? Season 5?
This is season 2 or 3.
All right. The Mind and the Matter. I don't really remember this one that much.
I had never seen it before. I watched it the other night. Interesting episode.
All right.
How did you get it? How did you get it from the picture then? If you hadn't,
I figured because it's a book. Listeners, obviously, will next week when you see this, or if you go on the Facebook page and like it, you'll be able to see it right now. But it's a picture of a man looking at a book, and people are turning to dust. So I figured it's something with he can make people disappear.
Yeah,
or something.
He essentially gets a self-help book that allows him to will anything, and his choice is to make everyone disappear because he's annoyed by people.
And I'm guessing he's gonna wish himself away, or he's gonna be the one he doesn't exist anymore. No ironic thing.
There's a different sort of ironic thing that he happens, but I'll let you experience that firsthand.
All right. Well, next week, join us as we dive into The Mind and the Matter. Until then, just a little bit of housekeeping, guys. If you could please continue to like and subscribe, it means the world to us. It is awesome that we have more people listening to this. It really makes us happy. If you could also, like I've been pushing, go over to the Facebook page. Even if you're not a big Facebook person, go over there so you can interact with the new names segment. That would be awesome.
And don't forget to drop us some comments over in YouTube. And if you happen to be listening on Spotify, give us a 5-star review because we are
a 5-star show. And if you have any other way, or if you need to get a hold of us for any other reason, you can email us twilightgnome59@gmail.com. And anything you guys send to us, we will read on the air on this segment here.
Messages. You are about to receive a message from the 5th dimension.
All right, so we got a new comment on our Top 10 Twists episode from Doc Dak. And Doc Dak says, "You forgot my favorite episode, the one where the guy finds a wallet with money and him and his wife end up killing each other as she poisoned him and he kills her."
And to answer that, why we did not put that episode on there, why is that, Tyler?
That is an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Yes, so it'd be very strange to put that on our top 10 twists for the Twilight Zone, but we appreciate your comment, and we appreciate you watching. There was also a comment, I can't remember, a couple weeks ago, someone, I think it was Rachel and then some numbers, but you commented about the sex fiend being your ringtone, and I can't remember if we mentioned you or not, so giving you a shout out on that.
Yes, glad you liked it.
And hopefully it's your ringtone now. All right, Tyler. Well, until then, my final question for you. Do you have any nightmares that you recall? Anything that really stands out?
Yes. Usually the only time I remember a nightmare is when Bigfoot is involved. There's one in particular that I remember. I was walking towards a village school. It was what our elementary school was called. And there was a Bigfoot. He walked along the parking lot, sat down on the curb, and was eating a package of Oreos. And then he looked up at me, and the minute we made eye contact, I woke up. Because every time I have a nightmare about Bigfoot, the minute he makes eye contact, that's the minute I wake up. I don't know why, but yeah.
Because if I stay in my dream, I'll die.
Exactly. He's going to eat me. What about you? Any nightmares that you remember?
I've had many nightmares, but the only one that really sticks out in my mind, I can remember having this nightmare at like 5 years old, and I still think about it. It's not really like that creepy, I suppose, not like traditionally a nightmare, but I remember being out in the field of my Nana and Papa's house back a long time ago, and there were these like wolves, but they were like lightning wolves, if that makes sense, kind of like in the...
Like a Jolteon?
Yeah, kind of like that, and like the like Call of Duty, the Hellhounds, fetch me their souls, but this would have been like fucking way before Call of Duty. This would be like, 96, 97, so... But that's the only thing that sticks out in my mind.
Also, I'm thinking about the Scooby-Doo blanket.
I was going to say, I can't believe you didn't say the Scooby-Doo. That's no ordinary Scooby-Doo
Usually
blanket.
when I think of like nightmares I had as a kid, it's usually involving Bigfoot, but that was one of the ones where it didn't. It just drops the blanket. I think we called like a plumber in the dream to come and fix the issue. Like, something wrong with my blanket. Better call a plumber.
Awesome. Dream logic. Gotta love it. All right, guys. Thank you again. If you've made it to this point of the podcast, you guys are the best. Can't wait to spend next week with you as well and hope you enjoy this episode. But until then, Tyler, is there anything you want to say to our dear, dear Gnomies?
Yes, thank you all for stepping in the Twilight Gnome with us.
It's 4 o'clock, the howling man is gone.